Welcome to the West Coast Speakeasy, Vancouver Island's finest.
Things looking up as the embers now take. Blew me out look was just seemingly fake.
Used to be a emergency medical call taker for BC Ambulance.
Okay.
It's kind of like right when I was starting my music
Yeah.
career all at the same time. It was something that was very cyclical for me.
Yeah.
I needed both.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
One played into the other at the
Yeah.
time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's I never lie to anybody. It's a stressful job.
Yeah.
And having the outlet, the creative outlet,
Mhm.
to go and express myself in a way that's completely different than like the tactile, sticky
Yeah.
environment where you are constantly alert. You are hearing the people's worst day every single day,
Yeah,
all the
totally.
time.
Mhm.
To have an outlet that was not related to that in any way was very, very necessary. And to have the financial blanket of stability with that kind of job means I was able to pursue
Yeah.
music in a
For
in a way
sure.
that made sense. And
Yeah.
I'm thankful for both sides.
Cool.
And you know, it being very stressful plays into some of my music. I'm definitely more of an extreme person due to that,
Mhm.
environment, but I'm thankful for it in a lot of ways.
Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's probably similar to me in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah?
Just working with adults with disabilities and then having like a different sort of separate outlet. But the very first interview I did really was with someone I worked with, so that really, played into it quite a bit and was. I mean, at the end of the day, ultimately, you're just getting people's stories, right? So,
It's true. I mean, really, as an artist and musician, your number one goal is to evoke stories.
mhm.
And they're often personal, but you're the professional observer. You look at the world around you and distill that in your music.
Mhm.
That should be the goal. I
Yeah.
mean, even if you make vapid music, it's not a judgment.
Mhm.
That does still come from a story, if not a more eloquent one. Doesn't matter. The story could be I'm having fun tonight. The story is, we're gonna light this club like it's dynamite. Like that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you're in some of those emergency management worlds, uh, you're receiving a lot of stories too,
Oh, totally, for
and
sure.
those stories can stick with you
And turn into songs
and
potentially.
turn into songs, which they definitely have. Yeah.
Cool. So I don't know. I'll just introduce you. I've got Cole Jackson with me here today, hip hop producer and artist in Victoria.
Thank
Thanks
you
so much for Thanks so much for coming again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe we'll just start with a little bit about your background, how you got into producing and uh, emceeing.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you said, I'm Cole. I'm a hip hop artist, producer, sound engineer, studio manager, photographer, event organizer. I want to do everything
Yeah.
in this world. It's a DIY world. And the more power we can give ourselves by managing that all and
Mhm.
learning and
Mhm.
being a student of these crafts, the more equipped and more thankful and grateful we can be for pursuing them.
Definitely.
My background coming into this world was I was a drummer since the age of 13. Um, Always into music, always into hip hop, but a lot of genres. I mean, my second favorite genre is jazz for sure, folk music,
Mhm.
music that moves,
Yeah.
music that is tangible and you can really grasp onto, And coming from that world of drumming, where those rhythmic disciplines are like really instilled,
Mhm.
it translated very well into a world that I loved all the same, which was hip hop.
Definitely. Yeah.
Your voice and your cadence is the drum in a lot of those songs, because where you punctuate and how you say your words and where you place them, and
Mhm.
every single syllable is, at least in how I like to do music, is precise,
Mhm.
or at least precise enough.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Your voice is the instrument in that
absolutely.
sense. Yeah.
And so after drumming for many years, I went to college and stopped pursuing music. I never even tell anyone this, but I have a bachelor's degree in marketing.
Oh yeah.
It's a completely different world
Hmm.
to me, one that I'm not in love with
Yeah.
anymore. Um, and after leaving college and having that degree and kind of stepping away from music for some time, I entered a job market that was void
Mm,
of emotion and feeling.
right.
I mean, marketing, that's what you're trying to do is grab that emotion and that attention
Hmm.
from others, but it's a soulless world.
Mm,
It can be, I guess. I should be
yeah.
careful with my words.
Mm,
There's very intentional ways of doing it, obviously. But in the corporate world,
yeah.
I feel like a ghost. I
Hmm.
mean, that is not a world that I prescribe to, and a lot of the people I met in college, I can't say I have many friends from that time.
Right.
So after that era, and I couldn't find work, it was either you need a master's degree and 10 years experience, and we'll give
Mhm.
you 90,000 a year,
Yeah.
or you'll answer one person's email for minimum wage.
Right.
Not a foot in the door. I mean,
Mhm.
I know that that's a way of thinking
Mhm.
in some industries and worlds, but
Mhm.
like in my opinion, if you're going to move up in a company, if you're doing something so menial and low,
Right.
there's nothing.
Mhm.
I can maybe answer two people's email in a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like it's not.
Mhm. So what'd you end up doing?
Well, I ended up. My partner at the time worked for search and rescue with ambulance, a completely
Mhm.
a world that I had not been in. I had been a security officer
Oh, yeah.
actually
Yeah,
at a casino in town here,
yeah.
and she uh, told me about this opportunity with BC Ambulance
Yeah.
for emergency medical call taking.
Mm.
I at the time maybe didn't know what I was getting into. But I applied. I wasn't getting any jobs
Yeah.
in the marketing world. And this was around 2021,
Mhm.
which, if you remember, like peak COVID era, I
Yeah.
mean, 2020, of course,
Mhm.
but also the heat dome and the opioid crisis in BC.
Yeah, right.
All three of those uh, led to many people exiting that industry.
Mhm.
And at the time I applied, you could get a job if you had a pulse and
Yeah,
two brain
right.
cells. Like they were hiring everybody.
Yeah, right.
So I got the job, and that's what I ended up doing for a long time. But
Mhm.
as we were talking about a little bit, I needed a separate outlet,
Right.
and that's when I got back into music.
Yeah. Cool. Started with producing or
I started writing.
yeah.
I actually started writing in college,
Mm.
really just as a way to kind of express emotion onto a page.
Mhm.
When there's so much kind of pent up and you don't have a proper outlet. Writing poems, writing lyrics
Mhm.
to songs. I remember the first song that I ever wrote to was Kendrick Lamar's "Sing About Me."
Okay.
And I wrote an entire, it's funny, like, you're just learning.
Mhm.
But I wrote an entire, like, 3 verses in a similar vein, just talking about, you know, if you know the song. I don't know if you know Sing About Me by Kendrick.
Probably. I mean, I know it was like to hear his big stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, yeah.
He raps from the perspective of people in his life,
Mhm.
and there's judgment
Right.
towards him. And I kind of appreciated taking myself out of my own body and writing from the perspective of others
Mhm.
looking at me.
Right.
I don't always think that's like, you know, uh, an egocentric kind of way of looking, like, hey, I'm gonna write from the perspective of others dunking on me. That's
Yeah.
not overly healthy, but it was the way I expressed at the
It's
time.
it's an interesting perspective though. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of puts into perspective, what your actual problems were, at
Mhm.
that time.
Mhm.
So that's when I started writing. I'd been writing, I'd been dabbling in producing just on band lab,
Mhm.
which for like up and coming producers and artists, not to tangent too much,
Mm.
but like we can talk about it, but
Yeah.
great entry level
Mm.
DAW, digital
Mm.
audio workstation, to
Yeah.
like get started with.
Yeah.
Just dabbling in putting samples together, adding some drums to it, and producing in that way. And then
Mhm.
slowly and surely, that kind of built up to a point where I was ready to
Mm.
start doing it,
Yeah, yeah.
in a real way.
Cool. And so when did you start working on Melted Wax then, that album?
One of the first songs from Melted Wax, Broken Hands, I wrote in college.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I guess technically then, but in the terms of it being like a serious pursuit,
Hmm.
must have been around that time, 2022.
Yeah.
I had been ruminating on an idea, on ideas for songs, and I had quite a bit of
Hmm.
material
Hmm.
now, but no outlet to really pursue it in a real substantive way.
Hmm.
At the end of 2022, I went to House of Al, if you know, in Victoria,
Hmm.
for the first time. I was actually there for a film mixer. I used to do background work and stand-in work,
Oh, okay.
just as a side thing with
Yeah.
security.
Hmm.
And I wanted to move up in that
Hmm.
world. I wanted to be and now I can uh, do it in my own way, but I
Hmm.
wanted to be like a film director
Right.
and building up in that industry world. Went to House of Owl and met Jordan Dack, who runs House of Owl.
Hmm.
And we had a conversation about music. They have a studio there. And that's where I kind of, for the first time, felt like the pieces are coming together. And I think
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I can pursue this,
Yeah.
you know.
And so how do you feel about that album? Like, yeah, how was it received, do you think?
Melted Wax, the intention of the album and the story is that it's a narrative album about um, evoking the story of Icarus in Greek mythology
Oh, okay.
to kind of uh, tell the story of our highs and lows
Right.
emotionally in our lives, how
Mhm.
things can feel really up and then they can feel
Hmm.
really down.
Hmm.
And it strived for stability
Hmm.
in those emotions and perspective and
Hmm.
balance.
Hmm.
And it was a very, very, I guess, ambitious effort to start with, especially just learning.
Right.
I was just writing,
Hmm.
I was just learning to produce. Almost all the songs on that album are produced by myself.
Yep.
Um, and, it was mixed, mastered by myself. I was definitely way in over my head.
Yeah, that's a lot to learn how to do yourself.
And it's naive, really. It was a learning experience.
Hmm.
Um, very stressful to make that, but I also something like I needed to do.
Right, for sure.
I There's no half measures
Hmm.
with me.
Yeah, right.
Uh, Once I kind of focus in on something
Yeah,
like
you
that,
got like the laser vision.
I needed to do it, and I
Mhm.
didn't want to be one of those people that sat on an idea for 10 years and
Hmm.
wished I did it then.
Yeah, right.
So once I had the tools and the push within to do it,
Yeah.
I needed a way to stop thinking about ambulance and calls.
Yeah, definitely.
And so to laser focus in on something like that,
Hmm.
I'm, I guess, proud of that effort at that time from that past life, from
Yeah.
that Cole that did that.
Hmm.
And how it's received, I don't know. And
Yeah.
you'll never fully know how everyone thinks of your
Oh, I
work
mean,
or
even
anything.
and even for you, you know.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that
Mhm.
time. I don't listen back to my old work.
Not much. Yeah.
Unless it's for something I'm doing with my new work,
Mhm.
like, if I maybe want to revisit an idea, or I
Mhm.
don't want to revisit an idea, and
Yeah.
just to remind myself of
Mhm.
what came before.
Yeah.
But if I have listened back to it, I think I sound nervous a little on it, but I'm very grateful, and I think there's genuinely good ideas that even today I can stand by, and the
Yeah.
intention behind it,
Mhm.
an album that from start to finish follows a complete narrative
Mhm.
that ultimately ends in a cyclical story about
Mhm.
how we rise, we fall, we're sometimes in the middle,
Mhm.
but that balance is
Mhm.
very hard
Yeah. Yeah.
to maintain.
Cool.
And it's a story that I can still stand by today.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if you agree with my take on it. I guess from listening some of the influences that I maybe heard, I sort of thought of the Grouch from Living Legends. I don't know if you know, hit a little bit like
Okay.
some of the flow and stuff, and Aesop Rock a little bit too.
Yes. Yeah.
But probably with more experimental production, at least maybe from that first album there. Definitely,
Oh,
it was
thank you.
it was Yeah, it was definitely unique for sure.
Thank you.
Unique,
That's my
different.
favorite compliment that I ever receive on any of my work,
Mhm.
is that it's something that was unique and people haven't heard before
Mhm.
in town or in BC or just
Yeah,
doing it
yeah.
different. Whether someone likes it or not, unique is never necessarily positive. I know you just said it in a
Usually,
positive way.
yeah.
I've definitely had people go, "Whoa, that's different,"
Yeah.
in the not nicest way, and that's okay. I think
Don't remember it though.
that's the main thing,
Yeah.
is standing out.
Mhm.
So thank you for
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Aesop Rock, major influence.
Yeah.
MF Doom,
Yeah.
David Diggs is
Mhm.
one of my favorites of all time.
Mhm.
Um, the Danny Brown,
Okay. Yeah.
another influence.
Mhm.
The drive to do something crazy
Mhm.
on something crazy,
Yeah.
like a beat that is really eclectic,
Mhm.
evocative, something you won't forget.
Yeah,
Um, is what drives me.
for sure.
Yeah.
So on that train, if you could sit down and like have a conversation with any hip hop artist, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Jeez. Hmm. Alive or dead? You know, this is gonna sound like a strange answer.
Hmm.
It'd probably be Slick Rick. Like,
Okay.
weirdly,
Mhm.
one of the absolute founders
Mhm.
of everything.
Yeah, I was just gonna say influence wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, certainly at that time, we're talking about someone that pursued in the face of discrimination, of
Mhm.
course, but
Mhm.
also not being accepted, and having a, with the eye patch and with the definite, it's a definitive style,
Mhm.
but it's one that took time to adopt.
Right.
And especially in the face of a genre that didn't exist. It didn't even exist at the time. It
Right.
was very, very new.
Mhm.
Um, I think to kind of have a conversation about that drive and passion to do something like totally, totally different, always storytelling. I mean,
Mhm.
that was the number one goal.
Yeah.
Is Slick Rick one of my favorite artists of all time? Like, no, probably not.
Yeah.
Not bad, not a
Yeah.
diss,
Yeah. Yeah.
but uh, would be a really interesting conversation.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense to me for sure. And I think I was listening to something recently that I think Nas did an album and where he talks about collaborations with people, and he was talking about Slick Rick and just being one of the main founders of hip hop and his influence. And so it makes sense to me that could be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also from a completely different time.
Hmm.
Because there's so much of, would you rather have $500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z, or
Right.
would you talk to someone that's alive today and like
Yeah.
doing it? And yeah, absolutely, of
Hmm.
course. Like,
Hmm.
I'd take the $500,000.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have
totally.
dinner with Jay-Z. But to talk with someone from a completely
Hmm.
different era, different time,
Yeah.
merge those worlds and see
And he's
the collective finding.
he's still active, isn't he?
He's still active,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Yeah.
makes it all the more, exciting to be
Mhm.
like, you've seen everything.
In his 50s, probably at this point,
Slick Rick would be older than 50,
or
I
even
think.
60. Yeah,
Yeah, 60s. He's not, he wouldn't be 70 yet, I
yeah.
don't think. So, no,
He's
that,
getting there though.
yeah, probably getting there. Yeah, for sure.
But so maybe yeah, on that train, then we could talk about Victoria and the hip hop scene here because it is so new as we were talking about before, right? It's like kind of in its infancy,
Mhm.
not highly developed yet. So what's the scene like here for you and community? But what can you
Yeah.
say about that?
I'm unbelievably grateful that a community is building around storytelling and expression through this music.
Hmm.
It's why it's my favorite genre, and it's why I pursue this genre,
Hmm.
is to, you know, share experience and storytelling. And hip hop can be every genre that way.
Hmm.
You can sample from an infinite bank,
Yeah.
or you can play with different genres and instill them into your own world. And Victoria has definitely taken on that idea.
Hmm.
It's a very 90s boom bap scene right now, but
Which is cool. That's awesome.
it's really cool, and it
Yeah.
comes by it honestly. Victoria hip hop has existed, before. So I'll just say that like it is
Sure.
definitely burgeoning right now
Mhm.
in a resurgence.
Mhm.
It is a resurgence of something that came before,
Right.
from my understanding, because
Yeah.
I'm from Chilliwack, so
Right. Okay.
I haven't lived here my whole life.
Mhm.
From my understanding, that initial scene in the early 2000s, excuse me, that early scene in the 2000 early sorry, that early scene in the 2000s,
Mhm.
um, was people coming together, the outright cipher outside Vic West School, I think it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I'm sorry
Oh
if
no,
that's
I
not
don't
the
know.
right school, but
I'm sure it's a fine.
just coming together and
Yeah.
like writing, rapping, and it was like a small group of friends.
Mhm.
Did some shows, and then over the years, that was building up, and then kind of as people
Yeah.
grow older and grow apart, fades away.
Yeah.
When I started doing music, my first ever release was, besides drumming, like my
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
standalone release, Mononoke,
Right.
in the summer of 2023.
Mhm.
I remember, I'll tell a quick
Sure.
tangential
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Sure.
Get back to the scene.
Sure.
About how when I performed that song, I did it. I won't say the name of the business, but I did it at an open mic,
Mhm.
where the lineup for that night was like 25 acoustic acts.
Right.
I was number 26.
Oh wow.
I get on stage at almost midnight.
Yeah.
After like hearing some heartfelt folk music for hours and hours on end, they do not want to hear me
Right.
go up there and like fast rap at them. You know? So maybe there could have been some perspective on my part at that time, but I went up and did it,
Mhm.
and they had this no booing rule
Mhm.
that I guess after number 25 they just forgot about.
Yeah.
Because I was getting booed off stage. It was
Oh man, that's brutal.
it was humbling, and it
Yeah.
was necessary.
Okay.
I'm grateful it happened.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah.
Because now I can look at that and it's a funny story.
Yeah, right.
I'm not gonna let that get me down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I look at that time where for me at least I didn't see a major scene.
Mhm.
It was not together as it is now. It was not communal.
Mhm.
There were many people on the outskirts. It can be a very insular hobby,
Yeah.
writing alone, producing alone, sound engineering different vocals
Mhm.
by yourself
Right.
at home.
Yeah.
There was no activation for community
Right.
that I saw,
Mhm.
at least. Now, flash forward only a couple years, and we are seeing the Outright Cipher continuing. We're seeing the Mind Size Cipher, hosted by Liquid Jane
Mhm.
at Vinyl Envy, who she is phenomenal. Phenomenal. She has done a fantastic job of building community
Mhm.
with that. We're seeing the Archer Community Hub pop up,
Yeah.
where many people are finding these collective spaces to come together. It's a huge freestyling community,
Mhm.
which, if I'm being honest, is not my initial purview. I've
Right.
become better at freestyling by going to these events. I'm a writer, right? So I
Yeah.
sit down and, think of stories, and I want to get in my head
Mhm.
about my writing and be
Right.
precise.
Yeah. It's a very different skill set.
It's a different skill set.
freestyling, right?
Yeah, it's a completely different way of approaching it.
Mhm.
One is not better than the other. It's just different.
Yeah.
The scene here is heavily freestyle influenced. And what I really like about it is that it's absolutely supportive of each other, of where everybody is at.
Mhm.
This whole community is new, and the first way to kill it is to start making judgments and gatekeeping.
Mhm.
And I don't know a single person that's doing that here.
Yeah. Right.
There's a lot of room to grow, and I'm super grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very cool. What's something that people don't understand about trying to be a musician in Victoria, whether difficult or a challenge or or a positive thing, that would be worth mentioning? Do you think?
For me,
Sure.
respectfully,
Yeah.
I think the doing is way more important than the dreaming.
Right.
And there are a lot of dreamers here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not wrong to dream, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to look at yourself and decide if you are a dreamer or a doer.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it doesn't have to be on the grandest scale of all time.
Yeah.
One step at a time. But we
Definitely.
put these barriers of entry in
Mhm.
place, and I'm lucky, right?
Mhm.
I got to go and meet someone and work in a studio, and now I work in studios and I produce for other people.
Mhm.
I'm extremely fortunate. I
Mhm.
got a come up that other people might not have in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say this with full grace and sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and buy a mic for $20 and record at home on BandLab. You can go, if you are a folk artist and play acoustic guitar and you're sitting at home and you're, I really wanted to do it for 30 years, but I just can't because XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of that expectation in your head and mold your music with XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Mold it. Go to the open mic. There's a very active music scene here, and we can all be a part of it in our own way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do consulting. I think it can be a bit scammy.
Yeah.
Not to dug
Yeah.
on anyone that does
Yeah.
consulting.
Yeah.
I'll give you my advice for free. You know, you don't need to pay me. But I mean, I've definitely had people ask me about music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a tragedy. The amount of times I've heard I've had a song for 10 years. I've had an idea for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I did a production session. I produced a song with an artist who I won't name, where she came to me and she had an idea for 40 years. She had an idea for 40 years
Mm-hmm.
and approached me
Yeah.
about making it a reality. Well, one, talk about the pressure.
Yeah.
But two, but two, I can't imagine a lifetime of not being fulfilled. If that was a passion for 40 years, I mean, that's not a phase at that point, right?
Yeah.
That is serious.
Mm-hmm.
And holding that strength in that candle and keeping that burning for
Mhm.
that amount of time, I
Mhm.
mean, that must do something to you that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Hmm.
So to answer your question, where there's a lot of artists in town,
Mm-hmm.
many people want to pursue music. It's a very musical city.
Yeah.
We can pursue it. We can.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever barrier of entry you have in your mind, look in the mirror and ask, am I a dreamer or am I a doer?
Mhm.
And if you are a dreamer, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But don't let it burn you inside. Don't let
Yeah.
that candle keep going then.
Mm-hmm.
Have the dream, and it's
Yeah.
nice and it's
Yeah.
fun. And then maybe you do an open mic one time and like that was enough, and that's amazing. This is a big world with a lot to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fine.
Or it gives you the confidence to keep pursuing it, maybe.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right. But activate something within yourself to at least try and do.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that will make a lot of people happier with
Mhm.
themselves and with their music.
Cool. It's an inspiring perspective. It's good.
I think it's the only one to have, honestly. It's tough. I mean, because I've been there, right? I don't speak from a place of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
While I was in college, learning, I'm in like macroeconomics, and I'm hearing things and writing notes that on things that I'm never going to utilize fully
Mm-hmm.
in a world that I don't fit in, around people that I don't belong with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm dreaming all
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
about doing something different.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time it was music,
Yeah.
but something. At the time it was film, actually.
Right.
I'm going to direct that movie one day.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
With that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
I was not going to.
Yeah.
Now I believe I maybe can.
Right. Not such an out of the ordinary story for university either, though, right? A lot of people are kind of
course.
daydreaming or dreaming big about potentially other things, and then sometimes it takes a lot of years before like you figure out your direction and where you want to go and how to make it happen, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that activation piece doesn't come, overnight or all of a sudden. It might come when you're 50
Mhm.
one day and you have a midlife crisis or whatever because you've been doing something your whole life.
Mhm.
You all of a sudden don't feel fulfilled and want to do something else.
Yeah.
Well, activate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a short amount of window where we get to do that, and to pounce on that
Mhm.
and to take that opportunity
Mm-hmm.
in any way,
Yeah.
is so healing.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man.
Yeah.
And so you just did a song with Papa, right? That's her name.
Yes. Yeah. Papa.
Is she based out of Vancouver or here?
Yeah.
Okay. And quite a different genre from what I've listened to of hers, like very different genre from hip hop, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's different for both of us.
Mhm.
I was very thankful to work with Papa on a song like Paradise.
Yeah.
It was a great opportunity. I know for both of us, it was something different and unique. It's a really wild story how it kind of came to be.
Well, tell it.
Us meeting, there's a million ways
Mhm.
that we met. We met in every lifetime. We met in the dark alley. We met in hell and came back. We met in paradise, and even at the Garden of Eden
Mhm.
outside the nightclub.
Right.
We met and had that initial chorus for that song Paradise,
Yeah.
like immediately
Right.
the second we met.
Mhm.
And because I'm in Victoria and she's in Vancouver, and both of us had not really worked in these genres. I mean, she's like a jazz singer for the
Mhm.
most part,
Right.
and she does a lot of eclectic work.
Uh-huh.
Um, I do too.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it like came to be like a true collaboration
Mhm.
meeting together.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna tell you that initial course, that meetup, um, that was like a year and a half ago,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and that us pursuing
Mhm.
that song, we wrote some verses. We had a lot of ideas about this kind of dichotomy of what does paradise really
Mm.
mean.
Mhm.
You know, because when you think of paradise, to me, I think of Paradise Lost or the Garden of Eden,
Right.
some utopia that's
Mhm.
idyllic and lush and scenic. Paradise can also be at an underground club that you don't know the name of at 3 in the morning,
Totally. Yeah.
especially for a lot of people, you
Mhm.
know. Um, it can be, you know, staying up for 3 days straight and walking down the street and saying, I'm still going. Where am I going next? And I'm
Mhm.
with people I don't know.
Mhm.
That's a paradise for some. And there's a dichotomy in that we wanted to hone in on
Mhm.
for this song,
Right.
both with the imagery of the music video,
Mhm.
which is very Blair Witch inspired,
Yeah, right.
but also with like the lyrics themselves. And a collaboration like that, when we kind of made the song, that song has been done for over a year.
Oh, yeah.
It just released last week, Paradise,
Mhm.
by Papa and Cole Jackson. So
Mhm.
that just came out last week. It's been done for over a year.
Mhm.
We shot a music video about a year ago
Oh,
with
okay.
a director of photography in Vancouver. So I went
Yeah, right.
over there with Papa.
Yeah.
It was a really unique experience. We shot it in Stanley Park.
Oh, cool.
And then we went to this like underground club. It's this dichotomy that we wanted
Yeah.
to capture, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't know the place.
Mhm.
It was really, really late at night, and we shot it in a club. Um, People aren't really weird about cameras coming out in a club, but they're certainly weird about you performing a song to a camera while they're like dancing to like really upbeat EDM music. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've listened to the song. I think you
I
said you have, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not the most fast tempo. It's not the
No.
fastest tempo of all
No,
time.
no. Yeah.
So when we're performing a slower song, and everyone's like getting crazy to some 200 BPM drum and bass, it was like a funny
So that was
kind of
just live as
juxtaposition.
everyone was just doing their thing in the club?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we shot at what's the place? Funky Winker Beans in Vancouver. The craziest name ever, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Funko Pop Mr. Beans.
That's a
We
great name.
shot there.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. They were doing like karaoke,
Mhm.
and people are singing Sweet Caroline, and we're facing the opposite direction doing Paradise into a camera.
Mhm.
Totally different vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so that was fun.
That is cool.
Now, this initial footage, the original director of photography for that we, you know, all agreed
Mhm.
upon for this video dropped out.
Oh, okay.
And then it was kind of left in limbo. And you know, sunk cost fallacy. It's like I want to keep pursuing it.
Mhm.
What the first reason is because I believe in the song
Mhm.
and I like the song. That's number one.
Mhm.
The second is just, you know, we've put in so much time. What more do we need to do to keep it going? Let's
Right.
do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't want to scrap.
Mhm.
I scrap a lot of stuff, but
Right.
not something like that.
Mhm.
And so I was in Vancouver for work from September to January
Mhm.
of last year, met
Mhm.
up with Papa again. And when the original director dropped out, I just said, I'll direct the thing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So that music video, half of it is shot on like a really old camcorder
Yeah.
that I had from when I was a kid,
Oh, really?
that I still have.
Yeah.
Shot it on that. So it's analog in that way. I wanted to evoke that Blair Witch
Mhm.
idea.
Yeah.
And it was like a nice juxtaposition with these like club
Mhm.
environments that we were in. So
Mhm.
yeah. So and then you know that video was shot in I think October or November, and I edited it then, and it's been finished since then, and it's April, and it came
Right.
out now. So
Yeah, wow. Cool.
that's just when it lined up best for both of us, and
Yeah, right.
it was a great opportunity.
Mhm. Yeah, and it is I guess yeah, I don't know a lot about her, but she's fairly active in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does a million things. It's not just music with
Right.
her. I know that's her main
Yeah.
passion. I think she does these 24-hour weddings, or she might have a marriage certificate and,
Oh,
and
okay.
marries
Yeah.
people in 24 hours, like in Vegas, and a whole bunch of things.
think
So,
I saw a podcast maybe on her website too, and yeah, so she's like a multi.
multi, which
Yeah.
I can certainly, I really appreciate that. I'd like to think I'm a multidisciplinary as
Mhm.
well, want to pursue every single avenue. And even if the genre of music was slightly different for
Mhm.
both of us with
Mhm.
something like that, it was the outlook
Yeah.
of how we approach the creative world that made this a no-brainer
Mhm.
collaboration.
Yeah, cool. Do you think there's a risk of spreading yourself too thin if you're trying to do too many things?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
already do.
Yeah.
I think I absolutely do. But
Mhm.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn
Mhm.
these avenues. I'm grateful that they all play into each other. Um, the avenues I pursue are coalescent, to say.
Mhm.
Like they blend in. I can shoot music videos because I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
I can organize events because I know people in town from doing community events with music.
Mhm.
I'm learning about. I wanted direct films in addition, and
Mhm.
my upcoming album is definitely going to have a cinematic approach to it. That's how
Oh,
I
yeah.
approach every album, but this one, now I know more than Melted Wax.
Right.
And that all came from practicing, learning, and being a student of those crafts. But I'm burnt out all the time, of
Yeah, of
course.
course.
I'm completely
I
drained.
think that's the
But it's
nature
worth
of
it.
it, you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth it for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
And so do you already have video ideas for your new album then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So um, I'm currently rolling it out. I won't give a specific date yet, but
Mhm.
very soon
Mhm.
on this album. The initial album, Melted Wax, was a narrative album.
Yeah.
I constructed it like a director with specific song placements. I think that's a lost art, is track sequencing
Right.
and creating a story through how you place the tracks.
Mhm.
A lot of albums are playlists,
Right.
because that's what works on streaming.
Mhm.
They can still work for streaming if you're intentional with it and your story.
Mhm.
That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
This next album, I didn't want to do a narrative album again.
Mhm.
I just happened to run into it this time. When I get hold of a story and an idea, I'm like, oh, that really inspires me. I want to keep going with that.
Mhm.
But it's a lot of work to like sequence your tracks in that way and tell
Right.
a
Yeah.
cohesive story throughout the whole thing.
Mhm.
And with I almost said the album name, I'm not going to say yet. With that album that's going to be coming up,
Yeah.
I definitely going to have a narrative approach to it.
Mhm.
It's already started. I had a song released this month as well called Eras Tour.
Right, I've heard that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it definitely plays into a lot of the themes on that album.
Mhm.
And I wanted to evoke, familiar imagery, and that's widely accepted and accessible
Mhm.
with some inconvenient truths,
Right.
which me and Nolan Pilgrim on the song
Mhm.
definitely get into. So I'm very, very grateful for a community that is wanting to do the same things that I am.
Cool. And is it stylistically sort of similar to your previous album, or are you going in like a different direction, or?
I think there's a lot of different directions on this one.
Mhm.
Um, I listen, like I said, I don't listen to my previous work
Right. Too much. Yeah.
too much.
Mhm.
I can say with confidence that this is. I wanted the worst track on my second album to be better than the best track on my first album,
Right.
and I'm proud to say I think I've done that,
Oh, cool.
and I'm very excited to share that soon.
Yeah, cool. Well, I look forward to it.
Thank
What, I mean, I sort of asked you this before about strange things that you've sampled, but
Mhm.
on that album, was there anything like really out of the ordinary sounds that are really out of the ordinary that you found or sampled?
Absolutely. It's a very one different approach on this album is that it is sample heavy.
Mhm.
On Melted Wax, a lot of those sounds are constructed by myself.
Right.
They're not sampled. I have a song from that era, Late Nights at Home, that I used a sample from, but I constructed a lot of the sounds on the first album. This one I wanted to do something different, and a very sample heavy album, definitely constructed sounds as well.
Yeah.
But one of the strangest ones I think has already released, which is Eras Tour. I found this snippet of a progressive jazz group in Japan.
Oh
Is
yeah.
where that comes from. I think it's from like the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
And there was just one part of the song in the midway that really, it was so odd, and then putting drums over it, I'm like, wow, this is a totally different kind of sound. If you've
And
heard the song, it's
What do you know what instrument it is or what it might be from?
I mean, it's like, it was tough because they ask you this when you upload the music to your
Right.
platforms, like
Yeah.
what instruments are involved. Might be a bassoon. Like I
Yeah,
really
right.
am.
Something pretty like
There's a harp
uncommon.
in the
Yeah.
background. Like it sounds like they recorded the thing from 50 feet away and were just like plucking the strings.
Right.
And there's only one passage of that song that sounds in that way. It sounds completely different before, and then they have this little 2-bar interlude, and then it kind of trails off a bit, and then goes right back to what it was before.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, ooh, that's the moment for me. So that's one of the strangest samples I've and oddly, I didn't even manipulate it much at all.
Oh, really?
A lot of the samples, and I think it's fun to
Yeah.
manipulate samples
Yeah.
and chop them up like throughout the song. If you take 15 seconds from the first part, and then the next bar is like at 2:30, and then you kind of like splice it all through.
Yeah.
One of the rare ones where I just left it as is,
Oh, okay.
and
And there's no real issues with like clearance for that or
I clear all my samples.
yeah.
Most people don't,
Okay.
especially at the level that I'm at. I
Right.
don't want to come across like I know where I am at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't clear their samples, and it is usually never a problem at all. I want these works to last forever, and I don't want them to be taken down. And I probably put too much thought into each individual song and moment, to the point where it can become obstructive sometimes. But I clear all my samples, so there's no issue with that. These Japanese instrumentalists are getting paid
Yeah,
the same that I am. So,
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
So that's good. Okay, and maybe like a somewhat non-musical question. What do you want to accomplish in the next few years? Not necessarily as like an artist, but just as a person, as a human being.
Like I said, kind of alluded to earlier, I'm an extremist person. I and that's off-putting for some people. I recognize that. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
I want to find that balance more. I've had things in my life happen where it's put my perspective and my world in a tailspin a little bit. It's something that I'm working through, and I want to continue to work through that. And I want to find the gratitude in like the everyday life. Like I want to go touch grass and feel like that's a good thing. Like I want to go smell a rose and like think, oh, that was enough for today. That kind of thing. I put a lot of expectation on myself for what I do and how I do it and the quality that it needs to be.
Right.
I need to be perfect, and that is not fair because no one is perfect.
No, of course.
So I shoot for 90%. Or I shoot for perfect. If I end up at 80 or 90%, then I can walk away semi-happy, but not fully. And that's not a great or sustainable outlook. So as a person, I'm definitely have a lot of growth to do in that way.
Right.
And I'm wanting to pursue that growth. I don't know if you know Viktor Frankl.
I do not.
He's a philosopher, or he wrote a book that has become a philosophical musing. It's a book about his time in a concentration camp.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And his outlook during that time as life with meaning, as life with purpose. And that's what strives. That's what drives him. That's what he strived for through that time to get through to the other side. And he did. It's a phenomenal book. I wish I knew the name off the top. I think it's I don't want to say the wrong title. Viktor Frankl. It's his number one book.
Right.
And that's how I kind of view life in a philosophical sense, is that there needs to be purpose. To me, that there's really like the three kind of stand out ways of viewing life, which is in the Freudian sense, and then in the Nietzsche sense, and then in this sense of Frankl, where you can live life like Freud as life of pleasure, and that's why you live. You live for the weekend and good times, and that's what strives you to keep going, is the idea that there's going to be fun, good times ahead. Fun, good times are good. That is something we should all have.
For sure.
It's not what drives me to keep living, to go to a party or to have fun. Like it's necessary, of course, those moments. But it's not what drives me to keep going. And in the Nietzsche sense, life of power, where your purpose in life is to gain power over others, is the authoritarian look that I think is not very connective. And it's not not why anyone should be living, to just control others. I have to view life of purpose. So I work, and that's what makes me comfortable, and that's what keeps me going, is that I work, and I gain purpose through that work, through being of service to others. I think that's why I stayed with ambulance for so long. And there's balance to that outlook, though. That's really important to hold.
And I guess, though, too, if you really enjoy the work and you're doing something that you're very interested in all the time, that balance doesn't necessarily have to be as important in a way, just because for some people, like being obsessed with something or can be positive for them in a lot of ways. You want to make time for relationships and for other things, for sure, but having that thing that like propels you can be, well, it just sounds like you do, can be really important for a lot of people.
It's certainly important. That obsession needs to be one of grace, though, right? And one where it doesn't impede on other things. And I only know the world of obsession through a way that it impedes on other things.
Right.
That's just my outlook. That's how I've lived my life. I need to keep going and going, and I'm willing to do, to myself at least, things that I wouldn't do to anybody else in order to pursue that goal.
Right.
This is like a super light example, but like it will not. I've considered for music videos, if it's a good shot, like, ridiculous things. Like if I'm getting hit by a car, it better be on camera at least, and it needs to fit the video. That kind of stuff. And that's too much,
right. Yeah.
But I recognize that within myself. And at the end of the day, if I didn't have something that like really drove me in terms of work, in terms of something that's lasting and meaningful, I couldn't keep going. So I'll agree in that sense for sure.
And this is something I think I'm going to ask everybody that comes on here, but is there something that you do, and sort of as like a wrap up last question kind of thing, but is there something that you do in your everyday life that isn't your creative pursuits that helps you sort of stay sane and grounded in this crazy time we live in right now?
Absolutely. I'm really driven by social connection. So seeing friends, going on hikes. I started skateboarding.
Nice.
I'm 27 years old, and started skateboarding, and I'm like, my back or whatever, but like whatever, like it's a fun kind of, not that skateboarding is menial.
No.
But like for me, I approach it in a way that I'm not taking it so seriously, and that I need to be the next Tony Hawk. I'm just doing it for fun. I don't do enough of that stuff, and I think a lot of us don't do enough of that stuff. Writing and reading in ways that are not music related. I used to be a film reviewer. For Collider, which is like a BuzzFeed type of thing. So I still do that, not for Collider, but I also write music reviews for Unsigned BC. It's just a fun
Yeah, cool.
outlet and a way for me to listen to people that I wouldn't
Mhm.
have before.
Yeah, right.
I work at I'm an event organizer for a jazz rap show in town called The Night Called Quest.
Right.
That's definitely music related, but I
Yeah.
also work at some of the festivals just as like non like music
Mhm.
roles, just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be there and enjoy it and
Yeah.
have fun. We all need like an out, no matter what your perspective on life is, like
Mhm.
to have an outlet where you can be yourself and enjoy it.
Mhm.
Like life is hectic and busy, and
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be as extreme as, you know, putting the weight of the world on your shoulders. But when the external is so brutal as it is now
And intense. Yeah.
and intense,
Mhm.
to have something internal that's just like, I can hold on to this and feel good about it. Super
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Go inside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, within yourself, more like inside yourself.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
necessarily inside of anything.
Yeah. Go outside.
Yeah.
100%.
Go outside for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, great answer, man. And I think we'll leave it there if that's okay. And thank you
100%.
thank you so much for coming. It was great conversation.
Thank you
I
for
really
having
enjoyed
me.
that.
Yeah, no, thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have a show coming up on May 14th at Lucky Bar. It's Hip Hop for Pause 6. I've been on 4 and 5,
Mhm.
and I'm super grateful. It's a charity event for the Greater Victoria Animal Crusaders.
And Pindian is at that one, right?
Pinion is at that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the poster for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to that. I have another show that I've yet to announce in June. And of course, I've had a couple songs release, Eras Tour and Paradise,
Yeah.
on wherever people stream music, and an album coming very, very soon that I'm
Awesome.
looking forward to.
Cool. Well, me as well.
Right on. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
Cool.